The Always Winning Project presents to you the most powerful, encouraging, and uplifting podcast, talking on the subjects of training, nutrition, positive lifestyle changes, self-development, words of wisdom, and your fitness journey. Now sit back, relax, and let's show you how to win. Alright, welcome back guys to the Always Winning Project. Today we are speaking about investing in yourself, and I have a special guest today, Kyl Raggio, owner of KRP Performance, located in Randwick, and we're both going to talk a little bit more into detail about how to invest in yourself to ensure that you win on your journey. Now, I guess we just want to use this time to introduce our special guest, Kyl. He's been a coach for about 10 years now. He's recently opened up his own gym about 12 months ago, and so I value him a lot, and here's the reason why I love this topic about investing in yourself, because I invested in myself a lot with him. So I just want to give a little intro into who Kyl is. Kyl, welcome.
Thanks, bro. Thanks for having me.
No worries.
It's going to be an exciting little podcast.
Exactly. Well, I've got 3 little questions for you.
Cool.
Just to get yourself nice and warm, and I guess sort of to tell all the audience, I guess what we're going to be doing today, but also a little bit about yourself too. So,
cool.
First thing is, why do you do this job as a coach, and how long have you been doing this for exactly?
Exactly. All right. So why do I do it? I think for me, it's something that's developed like into an obsession. Like I can't go like 2 seconds without thinking about training, gym, helping people, building a community, doing all those things. So it's something that's developed over time. And every time I've just kind of built upon that to, get myself to where I am now.
Yeah.
And that's been involved in the fitness industry. Well, I'm turning 30 this year, so I think...
Dirty 30.
I know, right?
Love that.
So I guess, close to like 13 years now, I would say.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Only to know that I've only done it for 4 years. It's just like, still got a long way, eh?
Yeah.
My next question to you is, what made you make that decision to open up your own gym?
Cool. I think I just got to a point where, I felt that I'd accomplished what I wanted to do at that current point in my life. And for me, it was always part of my 5-year plan as a, PT to open up my own space.
Yeah.
And it literally just got to a point, I came to a fork in the road where I had to make a decision, and for me to progress in my career, the opportunity came up to do it, and I just, I jumped in the deep end with no floaties on and just went for it.
Exactly. And how's it feel? Especially post-COVID.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's been the best decision I've ever made in my life. Definitely not the easiest, especially, with COVID, we were closed for 3 months. But it's the same as anything, right? Like whenever you take on a new challenge, you just have to take it with both hands and deal with all the, the lumps and bumps that happen along the way.
Man, awesome. I think the last thing that we want to ask you is, if you were to describe yourself in one word, what would it be?
Ooh, put me on the spot.
100%.
I think in one word, I would have to say like...
Or one phrase.
One phrase. I think for me, it's unstoppable. When I have my mind set on something, when I want to achieve something, I'm going to move heaven and earth to make it happen. You know what I mean? And I don't leave anything on the table.
Yeah, cool. Well, there you have it. Coach Kyl introduced himself, and I guess that one word is unstoppable. And I think that's an awesome thing to know, because that's the reason why we're going to speak about investing in yourself today. And for him to say that, to describe himself with the word unstoppable, it's like, that makes me want to latch onto him and to know more, and to also invest myself into him more to, I guess, upskill myself. All right, so I guess we want to go through, a few pointers into how we invest in ourselves. And I think we'll start with a little topic that I like to call you versus you.
Cool.
So I guess with myself, you versus you, look back at myself about 4 years ago, starting as a coach, young 17, 18-year-old kid who just had some amazing passion for helping people, and I guess fitness as well, coming from a sporting background. And at that time, I was really nervous to also, I guess, put myself in that deep end and become a coach. But then fast forward 4 years later, it's like, it's natural.
Yeah.
It's something that I guess I couldn't, ever take back and think to myself, how was I nervous? Like, this is just me.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why I found that 4 years later was taking myself out of my comfort zone, and also at the same time putting myself in a position where I can learn more and to also be more. And I guess also fast track my results too. But I guess for yourself, let's not take you all the way back to 13 years, but let's just take back to when I'd say maybe the last 3 years, because obviously the last 3 years has been, I guess, pretty hectic for you.
Big changes, yeah.
That you, Kyl, I guess 3 years ago versus now, where would you put yourself in that category?
Yeah, worlds apart, really.
Yeah.
I reckon, one of the biggest things for me was you set out on a mission, you have this plan that you want to, achieve whatever you want to do, whatever your goals are. And along the way, you might, evolve that goal. It might change. Those goalposts might get a bit further, but you need to really understand like what it is you want to do. And then along the way, I think the biggest thing is that you need to get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Like for me, I think I was my biggest roadblock. I set all these goals and I do all these things, but then I would be my own limiting factor. So I think the biggest thing for me is ego. Like
100%.
Getting out of my own way, letting fate take care of things, and kind of just jumping in and go for the ride, really.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess going into, the you now, do you feel like you're, way more ambitious? Do you feel like you're more driven? Even though, you're hitting the dirty 30s, do you feel like you've wasted time, or do you actually feel like, you know what, this is probably the best time for me right now in my current, situation?
Yeah. It's funny because when you're at that point in your life, the 12 months ahead of you, the 2 years ahead of you seems so distant that it's like, what I do now makes no difference.
Does it play with your head though? Because I know it plays in my head. Like, yes, I'm 22 going on to 23, and I know I have a lot of time, but then sometimes it's like, man, I wish I did that 6 months ago, But I mean, I can't complain, but let's put, myself in your shoes. Yeah. How would you put yourself in that position?
You can't have any regrets.
Yeah.
And I had to think about this long and hard because I did exactly that. When someone asked me, man, like, how was it to open your gym? Like, it must have been this crazy, big, scary thing. And, I kind of answer that by like, I should have done it 12 months ago when, I was talking about whatever.
Yeah.
But, when you look at it in the context of where you are from where you came, it's like everything happened for a reason. I did it at the right time, at the right moment to get the outcome that I wanted. Had I rushed it or jumped into something, might not have been the right thing to do. So you can never have regret. You can never sort of wonder what if. You just have to know what your purpose is, and that, fate will eventually lead those, that domino effect to that point, really.
So I guess what we want to do now is I think we want to use our own experiences and teach people right now on looking, at themselves pre-COVID and now post-COVID. I think it's a great topic to talk about because 3 months ago, people were, if we want to speak about health and fitness journey related, going to the gym, just finishing off summer, keeping that summery vibe and, that motivation on the highest level possible to now probably not doing anything, having no guidance, doing home workouts, probably not feeling as motivated to get out of bed.
Sure.
Now, this can be a big factor because you're looking at you 3 months ago versus you now.
Yep.
And I think people tend to look back too much as who they were 3 months ago and they try to compare themselves to that when they start moving forward for themselves now, it's like they've limited themselves already for them to move forward. So I guess my advice, and obviously we'll take your advice as well, is I think accept the fact that this is the start again, to not let us get overwhelmed with who we were and who we were becoming. But at the same time, let this time be a factor to go, okay, cool. How much money do I have in the bank? How much time do I have? Can I invest myself into certain areas that are going to better my, education around training, education around nutrition, or even put myself in a community that's going to help us, stay positive and motivated. I think that would be an awesome thing for people to do at this current point. Even if it's for a month, even if it's for like 3 months, I think doing that for the next 3 months, then comes spring, then comes summer, I think people are going to get that motivation, back into them to stay accountable. So what do you think? What do you think they should do post-COVID, in investing themselves in that certain position?
Yeah, cool. So a quote I really love is like, comparison is the thief of joy.
Ooh,
yeah.
Love that.
Getting deep, right?
So okay. I need my own phrase.
Always write that one down. So when you look at it fundamentally, right? It's like, for people who were, went to the gym like us, who were, obsessed with training and all that kind of stuff, is like, I used to bench this much. I used to look like that. All those things that you tell yourself that you were that, you are now not that, therefore you aren't good or better or whatever. So when we look at that 3 months now, it's like, okay, cool. that happened. This is where I am now. What can I do now to move the needle forward? Because it hasn't completely wiped out the ability to train. It hasn't wiped out the ability to stay healthy and fit. You can do that anywhere, anytime. And that's kind of what that point showed us is if you're creative enough, you can do whatever the hell you want.
And honestly, without bragging the both of us, but our clients have had some amazing results over the last 3 months, and it was all about just perfecting the basics. There you go, KRP, always winning. You know where it's at. Best coaches in the game. Hashtag always winning. Hashtag KRP Performance. There we go. But no, 100%, I reckon I definitely agree with that. Yeah. But in the day, it comes down to a choice as well.
Of course, yeah.
If you want to stick to being the old you 3 months ago or even 3 years ago, that's your choice. But until you step out and go, you know what, today's a day for a new change, then that's when you start to see that big light come forward.
Yeah. Every day is a good day.
Next thing we want to talk about is... something I like to talk about, two things, I guess, attacking each other. It's called selfishness versus selflessness. Yep. Now, being selfish, people tend to think it's a bad thing. And I think that it's actually not. I think we definitely need to target, I guess, being selfish a lot more, especially in these current situations, to make sure that we are moving forward in our, I guess, health and fitness journey specifically.
Yep.
Now, I want to sort of touch on being selfish right now, where I made the decision to be selfish when, I broke my leg and I went through some stuff back in, 2018.
Yep.
But I made my decision to go, I guess, funny little story, I guess may as well talk about it, is, I met Kyl in 2018 at a seminar.
Yeah.
And I was going through some stuff there, and I was obviously going to educate myself as a coach, and I think I said hi to him with my sweaty hands, and he welcomed me nice, and I think just over those 3 days, or even it was like 6 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, it went on for a little while.
It went for a while. I started to realise this guy had some great knowledge, and he just had some a good persona about himself, and I decided to go, you know what, I'm sick of sort of trying to please other people and trying to think that I can do it all myself. Why not invest my time, energy, and money into someone that can fast track my results? Now, when we look at selfishness versus selflessness, the reason why I was able to, I guess, be selfish at that current moment was because I invested my time and energy into someone like yourself. You allowed me to fast track my, I guess, coaching abilities, 10x. That's something that I guess it would have taken me years to understand. And I guess everyone goes through their own failures and stuff, but with having your advice and your feedback, it allowed me to now go into the selflessness mode and go, I can sort of take a step back, coach all these other people about what I've learned. But maybe at the age of 22, 23, I couldn't do that if I wasn't selfish in investing in myself with you. So I think... Exactly, and I think I think with me being selfish in that current point, specifically investing into you, we can talk about how much money that was. We can talk about how much time that was. But I learned a lot, and I don't take any of that money away and want to put it anywhere else. So I guess if we want to tell the audience, I guess what happened there, what do you think was the big factor for me? In order for me to move forward with my business and obviously with my training, what do you think was the best influence that you did upon me? You can sort of brag, it's fine. But what do you think was the best thing that happened there?
I'm going to go deep with another quote. You can't pour from an empty cup.
He loves his quotes, man. Right? Loves his quotes.
I read lots of books. I'm really smart. So what I mean by that is if taking your example, if you're burnt out, if you're tired, if you're not investing into yourself on, a fundamental level, you can't pass that on to other people. So to to put that into context of, selfishness versus selflessness, you have to be selfish in the sense that you're building yourself up to be able to spread that knowledge and, have a far greater reach. It's not like, I'm going to do this to buy a Ferrari. It's like, no, I'm going to educate myself to help 10,000 people. It has to serve your greater purpose. So that's probably the biggest thing for you is you invested in yourself to grow you as a person, as a businessman, and then that, helps achieve your higher purpose, which is to help thousands and thousands of people, get fitter and healthier.
Exactly. And I think, tallying towards that as well is since you've been there, done that, you've made the mistake. You've made, I guess, a lot of, you've passed upon a lot of failures. And I think what you wanted to do was to go, hey, I don't want you to feel what I felt, do this. And I think, but most importantly, have the passion and enjoy it.
Yep.
And I didn't really understand it until I had to actually fall. And I said, hey, Kyl, bro, man, this has happened, man. I went from up here to down here. My training was here to down here. And I think having someone to understand that and going, hey, you know what, it's okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, put yourself first. You know, I'm here if you need it.
Yeah.
But do this now, so then in a couple of months or a couple of years' time, you can teach others that. And I think that's a very important thing, not just in business alone or even training. I think just in life in general, where people put others first before them, and then when someone like for example, you go to a party and you don't want to drink. But then all your clients are going, bro, what do you mean you don't want to drink? It's like, oh, sorry about your calories. Like, at the end of the day, you've got that choice.
Yes.
If you don't want to drink because you're focusing on you, that's you. Don't worry about other people's judgment. But 95% of people go into that wanting to feel don't want to feel judged, and they go on and start doing what everyone else does. And I think I want this podcast and I guess this interview to teach people, hey, man, if you put yourself first, if people don't want to follow you, if people don't want to, I guess, support that, then that's not a support group. That's more like a cage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're trapped in this group where people don't want you to grow. And I think that's not something, I guess, to be around. It's not something that you can grow, because then that moment, if you can focus on yourself, if you can invest in someone that's going to help you, allow you to understand that being, selfish is okay. It's exactly what you taught me. Then if it's your job to go help others, or even if you go over to a foreign country who doesn't have much things, you're going to know what it feels like to be, I guess, selfless.
Yeah.
And learn the power of giving, which I absolutely love. And people just need to understand, I guess, on a greater detail that, hey, putting yourself first, if you just want to lose 5 kilos for 12 weeks, just do it.
Yeah.
Yes, we can talk about the nitty-gritties on how to live that lifestyle, but at the end of the day, no one can tell you what to do but yourself.
No, you have to make a conscious decision up here, and the actions that flow on from that conscious shift of mind, that's where, being selfish in order for you to achieve something to, again, serve that higher purpose. And that works on, so many different levels in terms of like us as trainers, anyone who's just wants to get fit and healthy. It's like, you have to be selfish, and whether that is, giving up, going out with your friends who drink and peer pressure you, like eating junk food or whatever it is, you have to make that decision for you, and then, the outcome from that is whatever, your desired goal is, and whether that's business or personal or whatever it may be.
Exactly. Well, I think we'll touch on I guess, one little question in regards to, I guess, being selfish is, what would you say to someone who is working full-time, has a family, and wants to, I guess, get fitter and healthier for their, I guess, their own, joy and happiness? Like, what's going to be the underlying issue there for them? And in order for them to become selfish at one point with the amount of demand on their family and work, how would you go about that?
Well, it's hard. Like, that's the unfortunate answer. And I guess us dealing with those types of people who are, career-oriented professionals, have jobs, have businesses, whatever. You have to be selfish at some point. But if the outcome of that is you getting healthier and fitter and feeling better about yourself and have a better positive body image or whatever it is, it's hard. And doing something that that requires you to put in some effort and do things that push you, it's hard. And people are really, I guess, hesitant to push themselves out of their comfort zone, or it's easier to make an excuse not to do it. So my advice to those people is like, get uncomfortable, do the things that you need to. If you really want that enough, you'll figure out a way to do it. You'll figure out how to push yourself.
Yeah, and exactly what I say to my clients is that this current situation, it is hard, but it's my job and our job as a team to simplify that life.
Yeah.
And I think, look, anyone can space out 45 minutes to an hour.
Of course.
But the biggest problem right now is people tend to think that they need to, find that time, 45 minutes to an hour, then write their own program, write their own nutrition, and to sort of do it all themselves. But I mean, when you invest in someone else to help you, it's like that thing 10x'd.
Yeah, of course.
You have so much more guidance. All you got to do is rock up, show some effort, and then, the results come.
And like, we're in a society now where people want things yesterday. Like, I want to lose 10 kilos last week, you know what I mean? So when you have resources available and you have people who have been there, who have done that, and can fast track, your results or your goals, it's like, why not use that? Why not at least see if it helps? Because you're no better off if you don't do it.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the most important thing, is like, what have you got to lose? You're at 0 now, you want to get to 100. If you try it and you fail, cool, you're at 0 anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Like, you can only go out and try it, and if it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, you're no better off or worse off.
As long as people don't go to 100 straight away,
exactly,
and I'm happy, because then they're going to go straight to 0 even faster. Than
the 100's not sustainable.
Exactly. Even though we all want to be hundreds,
yeah,
we're not even hundreds sometimes. The next topic we want to talk about is me time versus time for others.
Yep.
Now, I love this category because people tend to find excuse after excuse on how to not find time for themselves.
Yeah.
And I think not only am I guess, a good attribute for this, but I think you are even greater, and you taught me this. But again, let's talk back, along my journey. I would work 14 hours a day as a PT, and you'd come home and you're like, frick, I got to be in bed in about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I got to shower, I got to eat, got to say hi to my family, whatever I had to do at that current point, and then there was no time left.
Yeah.
And I started to realise I didn't like that state that I was in, and I feel like that I was, falling behind. Even though I was helping other people, I couldn't actually help them because I wasn't helping myself. Right. Until I started to realise, look, Jacob, even if it's 40 minutes, 30 minutes right before you go to bed, set a time for what time you want to go to bed. That 30 to 40 minutes, let's spend time to yourself. Yeah. And so what I did is I decided to just do small things. I started to, watch a YouTube video that I loved. I'm a big advocate for Christian Guzman. I respect him highly. CG Fitness, I'm coming for you. Athlete, Jacob Lexus. But just watching his videos just, bring me some sense of, just happiness, and just, taking my mind off what I was currently going through, but also my job and the demand that they had, I had on being a coach. Yeah. I also looked at, trying to read and listen to podcasts, and at the same time, listen to audiobooks. And then I also was listening to like church sermons, sometimes just getting yourself out of who you were and just allowing, just some health and, from a different perspective, sometimes spiritually, to, get my mind off things and let me sleep better. Yeah. And I realised that day after day after day after day, creating this, positive habit, I started to realise how much more confident I was in myself, the abilities that I had that I wanted to, the goals I wanted to achieve as well. And it was only from just putting myself first for 45 minutes before I went to bed.
Makes a big difference.
Exactly, versus like hanging out with my mates or, spending too much time with, clients' programs after work. Like I realised as soon as I categorised my time, I became so much more, confident, but also my work ethic times by 10 into working smarter and not harder. Yeah. And I just felt happier. And I think like people tend to think that going to work for 9 hours a day, waking up, having breakfast, saying hi and bye to your partner or to your family, then coming home and then there's washing to do, or, there's uni work to do, or there's, anything else that comes in the way, you come back and you're like, oh, I just want to sit down. And you feel like you have no time for yourself. But that's not right. There is always time for you. Just identify that there's 24 hours in a day. You could be sleeping for 7 to 9 hours of those days, of that time, sorry. And let's just identify what we can find in that time. And I guarantee you life will be so much better for you. Yeah. So what do you think on that me time versus time for others? I know it's a strong topic for you. I mean, you never want to hang out with me. But what do you think? Yeah,
look, it's definitely something it's taken me, till this year to really understand that. And it's funny we're talking about it. Like, I think as a trainer, like working for yourself or whatever, like this is, more, in the context of the PT world we're in, you get very focused on being busy. And it's like, it's a cop-out for people to just... It's laziness. Busyness is laziness, because if you're not being effective with your time, how can you expect to move forward? Yeah. If being busy is just an excuse to sound cool and, flex on Instagram, oh, I'm so busy, look at my schedule or whatever. But it's like, you have to do things that are effective, that move the needle forward for whatever you're doing. Yeah. But you also have to have time for yourself, because again, like, you burn out. And I know for me, the 12 months that led up to now, man, what I was doing was so not sustainable. And then, the COVID lockdown, in a sense, was the biggest wake-up call for me, because it took me a month to kind of figure out, man, I'm fried. Like, I can't even put a thought together. And exactly. I grew up surfing, right? So my whole life I surfed. I went to the beach twice a day, 3 times a day. And it was something I stopped doing because I was always busy. Yeah. Didn't make time for it. So when I actually, made an effort to do the things that helped me move forward, gave me a sense of gratitude, made me more grounded and just more, a normal person, I just started surfing a couple times a week. It's my chill time. I go for an hour And, I get back from a surf and I feel so grounded, I'm so clear, and that's probably the times that I have the most breakthroughs on, things I'm working on or the business or whatever it may be. So
I know it was crazy because speaking on that topic, I'd always come in here and say, man, I've got no time. And then there was that one time we did that circle of life thing.
Yeah.
And we broke down, okay, what are the current points that you spend the majority of your time in during the week and stuff. And, there was certain categories and, you looked at your pie chart or your circle versus mine and, 90% of it was my business. And,
there you go.
There was nothing got to do with my relationship, nothing the time for myself and for my family and even just like other things. And it was just like, man, that's not the life I want to live.
Exactly.
And I think people tend to do the same thing.
Yep.
And so even when you're saying about the surfing, after we had that talk, which is, again, so great to invest in, in yourself and have someone like that, is I started kicking the footy again. I started going to the park and, just feeling what it felt like to play footy again, because it's been such a long time after breaking my leg. Yeah, it just felt like I just had this sense of like positivity, and I was just so grateful that I could just go to the park and just kick this footy, whether it was by myself, even taking my girlfriend there and showing her the little, tricks and stuff. But it was just living that normal life. And I think we get caught up with feeling busy. And there was one thing that I learned probably about a year ago and someone taught me this, I think it was at a church service, is like you got to stop saying that you're busy.
Exactly.
Say that you're full, but don't say that you're busy.
Yeah.
Because once you understand, what it feels like to not be busy, happiness starts to come about.
Yeah, of
and
course.
that's when I started to realise I'm not going to PT on Mondays. I'm going to do my admin stuff on Mondays. I'm going to spend time with the people who I love on Mondays. And that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Sundays and Mondays are my go-tos, and that's it. Now, we grind, every single day, no matter what. My spare time, I love working on my business and the community and also my brand. But at the same time, man, like the fact that we can make that choice.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Right, life changes.
It's a choice. And, you get so like, again, we said like busy, and you use it as a cop-out to kind of deflect, your own failures, really. Because like you have to really look internally, and whether this is, just going super deep.
Yeah.
But when you can actually look at yourself and,
like deep.
when you're like, I'm going to stop lying to myself.
Yeah,
like, I'm busy. Okay, I'm busy because I know that I suck at doing this, and I'm not going to do it, so I'm busy doing other stuff. And I think people make that same excuse, like, weight loss is probably the perfect example. I want to lose weight, but.
How many butts have we had?
Exactly.
With that many butts, you could probably build a Kim K butt, to be honest, honestly.
But it is. That's what it is. It's but. Once you stop lying to yourself, you get out of that frame of mind, and it's like, okay, just do it. Shut up. There's no excuse. If you want it, make time. Make it work. Make it happen.
Exactly. And I think the big question to you guys is, do you actually lie to yourself? Do you actually put yourself in a position to lie? Because I'm not going to lie, I've done it in the past. I'm sure you have as well.
Many times.
And it just makes us feel good at that current point. But it's only short term. Okay, it's only going to last you, a couple minutes or whatever, and then you're going to move forward. So I think you need to really ask yourself this question and go, am I really lying to myself? And if I am, let's change that and let's just overcome that feeling of wanting to lie.
Yeah,
I think if we start to be truth to ourselves, then we'll start to realise that, hey, investing in ourselves and having that extra me time isn't that bad. Because honestly, no one cares about your journey but legit yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you want to go do something, go do it.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more.
The last one we want to speak about, guys, is we want to speak about passion versus interest. Now, this is the one I think that we're both going to love. And I think it's something that's going to really, put the nail on the head for a lot of you guys. Not just in, talking about what type of body you would like, what type of lifestyle you want to live in regards to your health and fitness journey. It's just in life in general. And that's what I hope to bring on this podcast and hope for Kyl and I to speak about today is passion and interest. And with passion, it's something that you love. It's something that makes you want to wake up and feel that fire in that heart, versus the interest is something that you think you like, you think that you want to pursue, but then, you're a bit half-assing, the efforts in regards to that. And a lot of people, when it comes to, them wanting to change their lifestyle physically, mentally and emotionally, it's like they put that half-ass in there because it's, they're interested in wanting to lose weight, they're interested in building muscle, they're interested in, living this better lifestyle, but then they use these excuses to go, it's not really a big part of my life, so I'm not going to spend enough time on it because I don't know, whatever. I'll get a gym membership. I might get a coach. I'll see how it goes. I might do an 8-week challenge. I might do a 28-day cleanse. I might buy some protein, But then,
and then it's done then.
Exactly. But then you guys need to understand having that passion to not necessarily be the next, freaking supermodel or being the next, bodybuilder. It's just to go, I have the passion to change my lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I want to talk about. We can have passion for our own jobs, our own careers, but I think it's more about having a passion to change. Mm-hmm. And if people don't want to change, then you're not living in the 21st century, because if you feel like you can be the same person day in, day out without having, different, things that happen in your life, then you're living a boring life, to be honest. So,
vanilla.
Yeah, what do you think about passion versus interest, big man?
Yeah, again, I guess building on what you said is passion has to get you up in the morning, and passion will also serve you when times are tough, because nothing is ever, peaches. It's not all rainbows. It's you're going to go through some dark things. You're going to have bad things that happen in your life, out of your circumstances, out of your control. And regardless of what you're doing, that deep underlying passion will see you move forward. And I think whether it relates to training, whether it relates to, going to the gym or whatever it might be, I think what you said is you have to have a passion for personal growth, for self-development.
Yeah, that's right.
Whether that's in the physical context of changing your physique or how you look or whatever, or just developing, more positive relationships with yourself, your body, others.
Yeah.
You have to have an underlying passion to get up, to go for it, to make it happen, have no excuses, and, it's a bit more than an interest.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to, touch on a bit of a story with one of my clients who recently hit the 10 kilo mark over COVID.
Yeah.
She lost 10 kilos in, just over 3.5 months. And it was funny because, she knows who she is and I won't name her, but she lost her job, obviously through COVID. And 3.5 months ago, she probably would have cried. She would have said that she hated herself. She would have said that, the world's ending, and she would have, endured in all the foods that she loved.
Yeah.
Instead, she used this passion of wanting to change herself and sick of being that old person, that old you that we were speaking about before. And she decided to, light up this new version of herself. And, fast track 3.5 months later, despite work not being where she wanted it to be, she was like, you know what? I feel so much better in myself.
Yeah.
Even with work telling me that we're not sure how long it's going to be till you come back, she was so satisfied that she was happy about the feedback that was, given to her.
Yeah.
Because the feedback that would have been given to her, saying that she wasn't ready, that there is no work for her, she would have probably gone back to the old habits and, wanted to feel like that she was a failure.
Yeah.
And I think that's an amazing transformation, because she started to really understand that, hey, this isn't just an interest of going to the gym, lifting weights and eating certain foods or whatever it was. It was that passion of knowing that she was able to change her lifestyle. Mm. And what's even funny? That the fact that she was able to, accomplish that, she gets a call on Monday saying she'd go back to work. And so people dwell in that sadness, and people dwell in just that the outcome that wasn't there. The outcome that wasn't what they actually initially wanted.
Yeah.
But the fact that they put themselves first, the time came. And I love that, and it gives me goosebumps because I've seen that in my own journey, I've seen that in your journey, I've seen it in 30 plus people's journeys over even the last 3.5 months. And it just goes to show that people need to be, just a little bit more selfish. Let's go back to being selfish. And I think it really helped to accept the fact that, hey, if I just put myself first and enjoy my own happiness, things will come.
Yeah, of course. And when you do that, and I say this to everyone, any client that I work with, anyone that I talk to is what we do face to face, online, it's training, it's nutrition, it's all that stuff, but it's a far greater net. What that we're casting is cool.
100%.
We're creating a shift in your mindset, in your lifestyle, and that, that transcends past the gym, past your body, past whatever, and it moves into things like your relationships, your business, your, relationships with yourself, and you have all these small wins that, that you're always talking about, and along that way, you develop gratitude. You understand those small wins. You celebrate those small wins, and then
100%.
The net effect of that is massive, because you get from, say, a person who was miserable, upset, didn't like the way they looked or whatever, to a person that's more confident, more happy, more outward in their approach. Man, doors open.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how that happens.
Yeah, I love that too, man. The fact that even from we fast track to the you versus you, which is the first thing that we pointed, is if we never made that decision to get better than the old me, I wouldn't have been able to transform that lady's life. And who knows if she went to another coach, let's just say, and just told her to eat this and train like that, and she probably might be in the same position. Now, I don't want to limit her, but I think it was from the power of the communication and the feedback and understand that personal relationship you had to have with that client and stuff. So going back to passion and interest, guys, is when it comes to having an interest, even if it's just like in business or even if it's just in a hobby, my personal advice is to look at that interest and tell yourself, does that bring fire to you? Does that make you want to wake up in the morning? Does that make you want to just work on it for hours and hours of a day? And look, be honest, write pros and cons on a piece of paper and tell yourself, is this interest really something that I can see it being a passion to me? Because if it's not, then I'm not telling you to not stop doing it, but have a hard look at it and go, is this really going to impact me in 5 years? And I think with what Kyl and I have together is, we're both coaches, we love helping people, and that's something that we were passionate about since day dot. But then we've had challenges along the way that's wanted us to, I guess, put water onto that flame. And there's times where I've walked in here going, bro, I don't know if I can do this anymore, And and I know you've had those struggles in the past as well, but from you having those mistakes and those failures in the past has allowed me to overcome those even stronger. And I think that's, I guess, the way that we should close this is, investing in ourselves, even if it's short term, it's always going to be a long term gratification and satisfaction. Even if it costs you an arm and a leg, even if it costs you time, over a weekly basis, people got to just go, if that decision right there makes you feel uncomfortable and nervous, I'd say take it. I'd take it with arms open wide and just take that risk and go all in and just see where it takes you, And I guarantee if you do that, you will see some growth. Of course. Because you're always winning or you're learning. You're always winning or you're learning. It's 100% right. And that's why I love the always winning phrase and on learning how to win is because anything that you do when you're out of your comfort zone, you're always going to understand, I guess, more growth. And that's something that I love about that because passion, it's fire. And we don't want no water to I guess, put that down at all. Of course. So, it's been an awesome podcast, Kyl. Thank you so much for
pleasure.
I guess coming in today. You're my first person on my podcast, and I really appreciate it. And I wouldn't want to have anyone else on it. I guess from behalf of Kyl and I, we really appreciate you guys from listening. If you made it all the way, we hope that what we spoke about today and investing in yourself, that if you need to, I guess, fast track your journey, if you need to, I guess, learn a little bit extra things, my advice is to, invest time, energy, and money into someone or something that's going to get you to that position that you want, that's going to get you to that happiness. Because at the end of the day, the happiness that you want, you're going to be able to create it, but having someone that you're accountable to or someone that you're accountable to can get you there and to keep it sustainable as well. So, any last words, Kyl?
Oh, that's it. I think you summed it up pretty well, bro. It's do what you love and do it well.
That's it, exactly. Well, so I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who tuned in to the Always Winning Project episode on investing in yourself. Please make sure you stay safe and make sure that you're always winning. Have an amazing night. Catch you later.